When I think about everything that we have gotten done so far since we first started renovating this thing back in September, it's kind of crazy because we've gotten a lot more done than I give myself credit for. And I think that's just because I get caught up in thinking about the next thing that we're going to be doing, the next project. So I thought for this video I would just kind of recap everything that we have done so far to date, and then talk a little bit about what we are planning on doing next because there is always going to be something more. And that's another really interesting point that I want to make as well. When we decided to move into this rig and sell our travel trailer, the understanding was that we would be living in this while renovating it, which is really interesting. It's a small space to be living in and renovating at the same time. When we had our travel trailer, we didn't do that. We were still living in a townhouse at that point, and we were able to go home to a clean, organized space at the end of every day. And we haven't always had that in this, and you guys have seen that, and you've seen kind of the effect that it has had on me. And I've had to be mindful of just taking my time and not putting a lot of pressure on myself to try to rush and get this done, because I know from our last rig that there are always going to be things that you want to do. Even 2 years into living in it, there were still projects that I was working on, and that's not a bad thing. I don't think that that's a problem. I'm trying to remember to just relax and let the process instead of being so focused on just getting it done. One of the first things that we did was remove the rooftop AC and put in 3 max air fans. We put in one over the bed where there was a skylight there at one point, and then the previous owner put a metal plate over it because it was leaking. So we put a max air fan in that. We put a max air fan in the hole left from the old AC unit, and we put a max air fan in the bathroom. And that has been amazing. We did that in August, and it was still peak heat here in Texas, and with all those fans going, it was pretty comfortable. It was way more comfortable than our travel trailer was, for sure. The next thing that we did was replace the refrigerator, because the refrigerator was bad. And I actually just posted a video talking about our 12-volt fridge and the things that I like about it and how it's been working out for us. So if you haven't seen it, you should go and watch it. But that was the like next major project that we did, and that was interesting. If you haven't seen that video about that installation, you should go back and watch it. It was a little bit traumatizing, but it's all worked out for the better. After that, we did the back door. Buying a new RV door would be really, really expensive, and we didn't want to spend the money on a new RV door. We were pretty sure that we could just improve upon the one that we already had, and we did. And aside from a couple of minor things where I'm like, yeah, I can see that that's an imperfection, things that I don't think anybody else would notice, it looks really, really good. We came back down to Texas, and I think that's when I started painting. I picked the colors with Stuart that we both liked, and I went and got the paint and I started painting. And that was when it really all started to come together, and I started to get a sense of like what this space was going to feel like, because Stuart and I both had a vision, and we kind of have similar tastes, but kind of opposite ends of the spectrum. And I was starting to see all of that come together whenever I started painting, which was really, really exciting. And I'm still obsessed with the colors in here. Every single day when I see the sun hit them, it makes me smile. In betwixt all of that happening, I also reupholstered the dinette cushions, and I'm still really happy with how they came out. That was not as hard as I thought it was going to be, but a little bit tricky at certain points because of the rounded edge. We also took the ugly like fabric frame that was over this that matched the old teal cushion. We took that off and replaced it with something else, and it's held up really well, and it looks nice painted, and it just looks really finished. And the fake pleather was a good call because with dogs and mud and everything else, having something that's easy to keep clean and that's going to like wear well over time was really important. And this looks clean and classy, and it's easy to maintain. The next big thing was the backsplash and the window trim. The backsplash was my idea. That was like the thing that I really wanted to do, but Stuart was the one that suggested the corrugated like tin siding. I wasn't sure how I would feel about it at first, but once we started like getting it weathered down and looking how we wanted it to look, and then started mocking it up, I was a lot happier with it than I thought that I was going to be, and I like it a lot. The window trim, Stuart decided that that was something that he wanted to do in this rig, and I was totally behind it because I knew that it was going to look absolutely amazing, and it does. I think out of everything that we have done so far, the window trim and the like dinette cushions and the walls are like my three favorite things. Like those three things together really create just a whole vibe, and I'm really here for it. We just installed a new sink and faucet like a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, which was a blessing in so many ways. The old sink was the original sink and faucet from 1997, and you could tell when we first tried to turn the faucets on, only the hot side worked. The cold was like all gunked up with like hard water deposits and stuff, and didn't even like turn on. We had to take it apart and clean everything out, and then it kind of worked, but the faucet kind of leaked around the top just because it was worn out. And the sink, in addition to being incredibly shallow to where it was like a pain to try to do dishes or anything in there, it was pretty worn out too and just looking kind of sorry. So I knew that if I was going to be continuing to do dishes in here, I needed a better sink and faucet situation, and we found the combo that we found on Amazon for significantly cheaper than it would have been if we had gone through Lowe's or the Home Depot or Wayfair I looked at one point. I'm really happy with how it looks. It ties the whole kitchen together really nicely. I think that kind of takes us up to present. There are other little things I'm sure that I forgot to mention, like all of the little knobs. We replaced the knobs with some really cool ones that I found at Hobby Lobby, and I'm sure there's other little things that I'm forgetting, but that kind of brings us up to current. The next big thing that we are working on, we are currently, like as I'm filming this today, we were working on it, finishing up our power situation, because at some point there will be solar going up on the roof, but we already have our battery bank and our like brains and everything, and we actually have most of it wired up, and it's working really well. So be on the lookout for that video. I think that'll probably be going up this next weekend, because it's really exciting. What we're doing this time is drastically different from what we did in our last rig, and I'm really excited to have like an off-grid power supply and stuff now, because not having that felt like weirdly debilitating. Once you have it, not having it feels strange. The next things after that are hot ticket items for us are the flooring and installing a mini split. The flooring in here is just sad. It's worn out. The carpet is in really rough shape, particularly just through the main stretch of the floor, just because it gets so much traffic, and it's had some unmentionable things like spilled on it, and it's just, it needs to go. It's worn out. And so we are looking at some kind of unique option, and that's all I'm going to say about it for now, but be on the lookout for that, because that's going to be coming up here really soon. It's time to get a different floor in here. This one needs to go. And then the mini split. So like I mentioned earlier, we pulled the rooftop AC out. I'm happy it's gone because they're very inefficient, but there is absolutely no way I am going through like a summer in the south without some type of cooling system in here. So that is probably going to be the next thing after the flooring that we're going to be tackling, because we want to make sure that we have that done and ready to rock and roll by the time the warmer months start rolling around. Stuart and I are kind of, I think, informally working our way towards getting all this interior stuff done so that by the time summer rolls around, we can spend those warmer months working on the exterior, because the exterior does need some love. The decals are in rough shape. They're peeling and faded and need to be taken up, and the fiberglass definitely needs some love in a couple of places, and seals need to be redone, and all of that regular preventative stuff. That we haven't 100% settled on what we're going to be doing to refinish the outside. We're still kind of playing around with a couple of ideas. So if you have refinished a Bigfoot camper or fiberglass shell like this, if you have thoughts or input or anything, please let me know down in the comments, because we're open to any suggestions and ideas and things, because we're still trying to figure that out. And then the other thing that I'm kind of dreading, that's an interior thing, the countertops. The countertops are purple, and if I'm being honest, besides the fact that they are purple, they also kind of clash with the like rust red color of the cabinets. And I don't think that we are going to be investing the time and effort and substantial money of taking the cabinet off and installing a new one. So the focus now is making what we have work. And I'm playing around with different ideas, trying to decide what will be the least painful. And I haven't made a final decision on that yet either. So stay tuned. I will figure something out at some point. I feel very, very happy in this space. It's been very fulfilling working on it and fixing it up and making it a home and putting our own little twists on things, making the space work in the most optimal and efficient way that it possibly can. I mean, it's just incredible what you can do. I don't feel like I really downsized all that much, which I know is crazy probably to a lot of people given that we live in such a small space, and that's really, really cool too. I am looking forward to continuing to share all of these renovations with you guys. It has been an adventure, and I know it will continue to be an adventure going forward. Not to mention the fact that there are some really exciting things coming down the line as summer gets closer. I'm looking forward to documenting those things as well. Thank you so much to everyone who has been following along on this journey so far. Thank you for your comments and for your support and for your advice. I appreciate all of it. It really does mean a lot. If you haven't subscribed already and you would like to, please do. You can turn on notifications as well so you'll see when I post. I've been uploading a video around Wednesday or Thursday and then every single Sunday as well, and I'm going to do my best to stick with that schedule. I'm challenging myself this year to take YouTube more seriously. So if you want to follow along on that and support me, please subscribe. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I hope I'll see you for the next one. Bye.